I don't know if you've seen the great television commercial in Great News America. GM is completely fixed. I want you to check this out from the CEO, Ed Whitaker from General Motors. Here it is.
I'm Ed Whitaker from General Motors. A lot of Americans didn't agree with giving GM a second chance. Quite frankly, I can respect that.
Hang on just a second. Hold on just a second. A lot of Americans didn't agree with giving GM a second chance? Really, Ed? That's how you want to frame your mea culpa to the American people? There were a bunch of heartless weasels who don't believe in redemption? Really? It's big of you to respect that. No, really, it is. I'm just having a hard time respecting the fact that you're spitting in our faces, you know, by asking us to buy your government-owned and operated cars. Although, to tell you the truth, I mean, it gets worse from here. I could go on, but I'm not going to, because it's just too much in this commercial. Go ahead.
We want to make this a company all Americans can be proud of.
That'd be great.
That's why I'm here to announce we have repaid our government loan in full with interest, 5 years ahead of the original schedule.
Okay. I don't know where he's walking to, but listen, Ed, I'm Glenn, and why are you saying that? I mean, I'm thinking that if you want to be a company that all Americans can be proud of, maybe you shouldn't just, what do they used to call it, lie to our faces. No, now it's spin. I'm sorry. I'm kind of picky that way. However, if paid in full with interest, you really mean we still owe $43 billion, well then, there's no spin there. That's what you hold, America, in stock and equity in General Motors, $43 billion. Oh, plus the estimated minimum $12 billion in union pensions. Yeah. GM, for some reason, is being allowed to say that they have paid back $6.7 billion. So they've paid it back. Yeah. That may be confusing, you know, given the fact that GM lost $4.3 billion during the second half of 2009. Now, I don't know how you pay back gigantic loans when you're losing money hand over fist. But somebody does. TARP Special Inspector General Neil Borofsky. He's shedding light on Ed's fuzzy math. Here it is.
If there's any money left in that account after a certain period of time, it has to be used to repay the debt. And basically what GM is doing is it's pulling that forward, and it's taking the money out of this TARP capital facility and using it to pay off the debt.
Oh, I see. Okay. All right, so here's how it works. Here's GM, and look, they had very little money, so they couldn't pay. They had no money. There's no money in government loans. We hadn't invented TARP yet. The money was where it belongs, with you. And so what happened? Well, GM was going out, so we took a bunch of our... They took a bunch of our money, and they put it over here. And they're about as non-messy with it as I am. So they keep taking your money and put it here. Then when we had to finish bailing out the financial industry, which basically just did this, they just, what? I'm with Goldman Sachs. What's the problem? No, I don't. What are you talking about? I'm not doing anything wrong with it. So when they were finished stuffing their own pockets, then they said, we've got to help GM because they're too big to fail, and they're union, you know. So they took this money, along with a little bit more of yours, and put it in here in a government loan bucket. Then they took that money and gave it to GM. Well, GM needed to pay that money back. So here's what they did. They took this money back 5 years early, you know. That's how they paid you back. That's it. You feeling paid back? No, you didn't get the money. They're taking it and moving it from bucket to bucket. That's all they're doing. They're not paying it back. Oh, I'm bursting with pride for GM. I am, really. Really. How can GM get away with running such a blatantly false commercial? Who's going to stop them? Mainstream press? Really? Same way this administration is getting away with everything they're doing. The government said their new health care plan would save you all kinds of money by New York Times reports. That's weird. Earlier this month, White House Budget Director Peter Orszag admitted that the Independent Payment Advisory Board with healthcare would decide on quality over quantity, rationing care. Watch.
The only real solution to our long-term fiscal imbalance, because it's driven disproportionately by the rate at which healthcare costs grow, is to move towards a healthcare system that's based on quality and efficiency rather than quantity.
Rather than quantity. No, nothing like rationing. Silly to even think that that's what he's talking about, rationing. No, just less quantity. That's it. You know, he didn't actually spell it out, death panel, so you can't call it that. Where is the press? Is anyone interested in the truth and what they're doing with your money? Anybody? Yesterday I showed you this. I got more on this. Why isn't that on the front page of every paper? I don't know. Look, I used to do commercials for GM. I used to drive GM cars. That's all I used to drive. I love GM. I like buying American cars. It pains me to bring this up. But the truth matters. And by the way, before anybody says anything, I cut the ties with General Motors, not the other way around. And it was a tough day for me because I like the people at GM. But the truth is, we're not being told the truth anymore. Not by the press, not by the administration, which now is GM. With our remaining stock in GM, we could provide over 2 million Americans with a GM vehicle. Now, Ed, if you'd like to make that announcement while you're walking, I'll consider your payment paid in full. But one more thing. Ed, you should really stop running these commercials. I wouldn't push it because there are just a couple of us in the media who wouldn't mind telling the story again about how you helped Rahm Emanuel make $16 million in one deal and then mysteriously got an appointment as CEO to GM with absolutely no experience in that field. Boy, geez, now see, I'm sorry. I just told it. But if you push it again, I'll tell it again, but this time with relish.
Hi, this is Paul Ryan. You may have read reports from the Obama administration or seen ads on TV claiming that General Motors has fully paid back what it owes you, the American taxpayer. These claims struck me as odd and misleading. The federal government still owns over 60% of this auto company. This so-called repayment is actually a transfer of $6.7 billion from one taxpayer-funded bailout account to another. As this is your money, I think you deserve some clarity on this shell game. My colleagues, Congressman Jeb Hensarling, Scott Garrett, and I have asked Treasury Secretary Tim Geithner to provide an updated, accurate, and honest account of the taxpayer money that is still propping up General Motors. If anyone is owed a clear and honest explanation, it is those hit hardest by the downturn in the auto industry, including those that I serve in Janesville, Kenosha, and Oak Creek, and the surrounding communities in southern Wisconsin. It is time to put an end to the crony capitalism in Washington. Thank you.